Hi, this is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net, and today I want to take you through a very beautiful tune, beautiful melody called Danny Boy. So this is a classic traditional Irish tune that's been covered by many people because it's a really beautiful melody and a nice tune to play on guitar. So the arrangement I'm going to take you through today is going to be one through the form of the tune. So the tune is divided into two parts, an A section and a B section. So we're going to look at a simple arrangement that addresses the chords with the melody, and throughout we're going to arpeggiate the chords a little bit in between the melody just to sort of fill out the arrangement. So that's basically the rundown of the tutorial today. I'll play through each section first of the tune just so you can hear how it sounds, and then we'll break it down and I'll show you how to put it all together. So let's get to it. So the first thing we'll do is just have a look at the basic chords and melody and how they relate to each other. Because if you're going to create an arrangement or learn an existing arrangement of a tune, you really want to know the chords and the melody in their most basic form and how they relate to each other. This is a step that's often overlooked, and people get into these really intricate arrangements but don't really understand the tune at a fundamental level. So you want to do that with any tune you're either going to arrange yourself or play someone else's arrangement of. So if we look at Danny Boy, it's got the first melodic phrase is okay, that's our first vocal phrase of the tune, and that's going with the G to the G7 to the C, and then finishes on the D7. So that's the first 4 bars of Danny Boy. Then we lead in with 3 notes to get to the next phrase, which goes okay, that's the next little phrase there, which starts on the D7 chord. It's leading into the next 4 bars, and then you've got a G, E minor to the A minor. Vocal phrase finishes here, but you've got a D7 chord to round out that 4-bar part of the A section. So you want to know where the melody is in relation to the chords. Now, I'm no singer, but humming the melody while you play the chords is a great way to really connect the two together too. So there's a few different ways you can approach getting the fundamentals of a tune down. Humming along, if you've got a voice, sing along with the chords is great also. The next phrase is actually repeating the first phrase. Okay, so you want to recognize that because it makes it easier to remember, and the chords are the same too. G to the G7 to the C, and then the D7, and then to round out the A section, we've got the next phrase. Okay, and the chords there, da da da, that's on the D7, and then the G, then the A minor, D7 share a bar, G, and then I like to go to a C, back to a G there. Now in the B section, we've got little leading notes in the first phrase. That's the first phrase, which is over the G, D7, and the G. And at the end of the phrase, you've got an A minor, D7 to set up the next phrase, which leads in. And then we've got this. Okay, which is the ba-da-da, E minor, and C to the A minor, and then the D's there again. So you can see it keeps coming back to the 5 chord here throughout the tune, and we lead in with 1 note played 3 times, and then we're up to the highest note in the melody here, the high B on the top string, and we're working our way, which is over the G, the C, and A minor share a bar, back to the G. Okay, and then we round it out, and that finishes out the tune, which is on the G to the E minor to the A minor, D, back to the G. Typical sort of 1, 6, 2, 5, back to 1 chord progression there. I just go through that like that because you really want to be able to do that with a tune, not put all of it together necessarily, but to be able to relate the chords with the melody, to be able to hum it, to be really familiar with it, because it's going to help you either learn an existing arrangement and certainly help you create your own. So I'm going to play through the A section so you can hear it as a whole, and then we'll break it down. So here it is. So the A section, we start out, just going to break it down here for you just piece by piece. So we start out with the leading notes for the melody, and then I harmonize the first note of the first bar with the G chord, but we don't need to form a full G chord here. Often with chord melody stuff, particularly with a G chord, but some other chords you can play fragments of the chord sometimes. Okay, so we start with that little opening phrase, and then sometimes I play two notes here, sometimes I just play one note, but there's a little pocket between this note and the next melody note, so you can fill it out. So we've got and then melody, and then we've got a G7. So I play this with my second and third fingers, and that, again, it's all we need. We've got the G that we had before with the F note added on the fourth string with my third finger, and we hold that shape because we really typically we want to hold chords to ring out, sustain as the melody's being played. That's the typical approach here. So where we can, we do that. So we've got the opening phrase, and then the G7 rings out, and then my pinky is used to play the notes on top because the other fingers are busy holding the chord. Okay, here I've got a C and I'm adding the A because it's a melody note. So all I'm got for the C chord there is a C note. I'm not really playing any more of the chord, just the root note to imply the chord with the melody note. So that's what you've got there. And then you've got melody notes around that. And I want to, again, sustain this note with my third finger, the C note, as I play the melody. Okay, and then the root note of the D implies the D7. So we don't always have to play full chord shapes or chords at all. It's okay to just hear melody sometimes and have the chord implied by the root note. That is happening here with the C and the D7. So I'll just play that opening sequence. Now we have three leading notes. This is a typical thing with this song. You'll hear often each phrase is boarding on the two of the bar before. 2, 3, 4. Then we've got another G chord. This time the melody note's D, so I've got to include that in my chord. Melody, actually a little bit of filling in. So this is a tune where the melody, there's always pockets in between the melody notes of a tune. This one's quite full with melody, but there are opportunities that I fill out with some arpeggiation. Very minimal, but because there's not a lot of space between the melody notes typically. However, here, these two notes here are just filling out the sound of the chord. I could go and just hold it, and so you don't have to fill the space with notes, but that's what I'm doing with this particular arrangement. But we've got the D, a G, sorry, and then E minor, A minor, and I use a G to just step down to this D7, and this time with the D7, I'm putting in the F sharp in the bass. I just like that sound. So that phrase goes E minor, A minor, and then this is all fill. Okay, the melody finished on the one of the A minor, and then I'm just filling a bass note connection, then the same phrase we had at the start. C. This time I go to my fretted D instead of the open. Then we've got this ending phrase of the of the A section, and we've got a D. Now this D here is basically, you can think of this D as part of the C chord shape moved up 2 frets. Okay. However, I'm playing it with my third and fourth fingers to accommodate the melody. You've got to, be flexible with the way you fret chords when you play chord melody stuff, because you've got the melody to consider, and that's very, very important, the melody. Okay, so that last phrase, G, then the A minor, there's the D, and to the G, and I like to go to the C and back to the G there. Okay, so you can play it with the filling in the notes, or if you just played the chords and the melody strictly, it would still sound really nice too. But that's the A section to Danny Boy. So on to the B section. Let me play through it for you so you can hear it in its entirety. Then we'll come back and we'll break it down. So let's break down the B section of Danny Boy. So we, again, as is happening throughout, we've got some leading notes that then get to our G chord. And I'm playing G here with my second and third fingers. We've got some just filling arpeggio notes, arpeggiating the chord, notes of the chord, as we did in the A section. And then we're down to our D7 here. So again, holding the chord as I play the melody, moving any fingers I need to in the chord to accommodate the melody, but still sustaining the sound. Back to a G with D as the top note, because that's the melody at that point. And then I've got a little G sharp, which is connecting chromatically below, one step below the root note of the A minor chord that is next. So we've got D7, G, like that. Okay, and I use I think most of the time I use my third finger. When I say most of the time, sometimes I might use my pinky there, but you could also just use your second finger. Sometimes you've got a few options as to which fingering you might go with. So you don't have to do everything exactly as I do it, but you want to make sure whatever fingering you use, everything is ringing out nice and clearly and fluently and throughout. Okay, you want to let it ring as much as possible. So one more time, this first part of the B section, and we've got notes leading into the next 4 bars, and it's an E minor with a G on top and some arpeggiation, and then our C with an F sharp. So we've got this sort of brief Lydian sound here, if you like. And so we've got to play that with, well, I play it with my first finger, and then my second finger is playing the root note on the bottom string. And I'm including the open B string there. If you don't like that sound, sort of a major 7 sharp 11 sound, you could take out the B string. So there's things you can do to adjust this for your liking, if you like. Either way, I've got them melody notes over that chord, and we resolve to the A minor. Okay, so from the leading there to the E minor, the C, the A minor, and again you could do this little thing that we did in the A section, which is just the stepping down from G to the F sharp, which is the bass note in the D7 chord, or you could just arpeggiate up the A minor and go straight to that chord. So you either got this, or, okay, so there's things that you can adapt there just to, you know, for your tastes, basically. So we've got that, and then here comes a little bit of a tricky part. We've got this leading of the D note, and then we've got this stretch, okay, because we've got this highest note in the melody, the B on the top string, and we want to harmonize that with the G chord. So we want to use our first finger to play the G note on the bottom string and our pinky to play the B. Now, I understand that can be quite tricky to do it first, but I promise you that you can do this. What I would recommend when you do this particular chord shape is put your pinky on the melody note first, then get your first finger on, because if you take that approach, you'll sort of trick your hand, if you like, or force your hand to be in the right position, because it'll kind of need to be to keep that there and the first finger on the root note. If you go with the first finger first on the root note, you might have your hand in a position where you can't get that pinky onto the B. So the order matters sometimes with chords when you're first learning chords that are challenging. So the pinky on first, then it's really fanning the hand out, fanning those fingers out to get that stretch. Okay, and once you do, you are just simply plucking the 2 notes that you're fretting plus the open second and third strings. Either way, you're coming from this D with the F sharp to our G and some filling arpeggiating the chord there. And then we've got C, which is just a little bit of a shell voice in here, or a little bit of a harmony really. It's got the C and the A note, and I'm including the open third string, the G there, just to fill out the sound a bit more. From there, and then, so we've got this C, my first finger plays the melody note G, and then I can take everything off and play the 5th, 3rd and 1st strings, and that gives me an A minor 7 chord. without the third in there, but that's fine. And then we've got the G note there again as the melody. So we've got this G, okay, and then to the C A minor, and then G again, a bit easier this G in the open position. Bass note to step into C, at which point you could play the C chord. I think in the arrangement I might have just played the C root note, which is fine. So again, just from here, G, could just be the C again. You don't have to play the chord all the time. It's enough to suggest the chord. Then we've got the ending 4 bars. And I like to put in the C and then finish with the G on top there. So there's room to move within this arrangement. You don't have to do everything exactly the same as I do. As you get more experience with this, you'll play around with it and adapt it to your tastes and your abilities, basically. If you like this lesson, then you'll love this free ebook audio I've created for you called How to Play the Chords and Melody of a Tune at the Same Time on One Guitar in 5 Easy Steps. In this ebook, you learn a number of ways to create your own chord melody arrangements on guitar step by step, including the importance of the key you choose when arranging a tune. The key matters because some will be more friendly than others when it comes to creating your arrangements, making life that much easier for you as a result. You also learn how to use more interesting and varied chords to broaden the scope and sound of your arrangements, in addition to proven methods and strategies for playing and creating chord melody pieces. So click the link in the description below this video and download your free ebook audio, How to Play the Chords and Melody of a Tune at the Same Time on One Guitar in 5 Easy Steps. Let me know in the comments what acoustic guitar topics you'd like to see me cover in future videos. I'd love to hear from you. Don't be shy, drop us a line in the comments section. I read the comments. I will reply to any topics that you'd like to see me cover and put them on the list. If you like this video, then hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the video if you haven't already, and of course hit the notification bell button. That way YouTube will tell you when I've released a new video. My analytics at last look told me somewhere around about 70 or 80% of people who watch my videos regularly are not subscribed. You might think you are because you see my videos pop up in your feed a lot. That happens when you've seen previous videos, but that doesn't mean you're subscribed necessarily. So if you like the channel and you like the videos, then I'd appreciate the subscription, and I thank you very much in advance. I also thank you for being here today and checking out this video. I always appreciate people taking the time to check out my videos. I hope you got a lot from it, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.